top 5 European, top 5 Euros Wonderkids.
Well,
That's
how
gonna
about
be
this? How
the.
about this? I haven't had a chance
Oh,
to list them.
oh,
So why don't
sorry.
we well just meaning it's almost impossible because I can't get into the managerial heads. Um there's 10 collectively between us, right, that we think are
Okay.
going to have an impact or going to have a really cool narrative for I can't believe we're literally talking about something that's less than 3 weeks away, which is like
Amazing.
it's going to come fast and furious, man. And then it'll be over before you know it and whatever. But yeah, let's start there because I really want to hear who you're thinking U23 wise is going to make an impact.
Well, you want me to start with the first one? Let's do one me, one you. Let's
I
do
like
one at
that.
a time. Okay.
Let's do it.
So I'm gonna start with Jeremy Doku for Belgium
Yeah.
because what I saw this season in Liga was a player that's extremely confident dribbling wise.
Mm-hmm.
He is not scared of going one on one with any player.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like he's going with the same attitude to the Euros. And I wouldn't be surprised even if Liverpool were to see him in the competition and say, we're going to get him. Because
Okay.
now that Liverpool are in the Champions League,
Yeah.
they might get a winger.
Yeah.
So, but Doku, I won't be surprised if Doku plays some games for Belgium.
I think you're right. I think about it. You can almost like picture it. You put him on in the 75th minute, 80th minute, and let him run at people,
Mm-hmm.
and that's pretty much what he's good at, very good at, and he's building around that game. But ultimately, yeah, like you said, he's absolutely fearless. Has been even in the transition from Anderlecht to Stade Rennais.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think he's not bringing him just to sit with him, but
I agree.
Roberto Martinez knows he's got a young gun and he's going to use it. And I think he'd be stupid not to use it. But
Again, next to De Bruyne and Lukaku,
uh,
Doku is gonna learn so much. It's gonna be so cool. I'm very excited for to
that's
see him.
that's a good one, and that definitely, if we were to be ranking it, that he'd be in my top five for sure. But I got one here for you. I'm gonna go with right now David Turnbull. Okay, young center mid, and let's be honest, he's probably the only good thing about Celtic this year. All right, Celtic stopped winning the Scottish Premier League this year due to Stevie Gerrard's Rangers team. But Turnbull,
Unbeaten.
yeah, unbeaten. But did they? No, I think you're right. Unbeaten. Yeah,
They
maybe.
were unbeaten the majority of the season, so
That
that's pretty
might.
that's a good achievement itself.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, this Turnbull kid, he had to wait. Well, basically wait until there was a managerial change. But he sat on the bench for a while, right, and didn't really get his chances. But when he was playing for Celtic this year, I think he ended up the Young Player of the Year in the Premier League, the Scottish Premier League. And he's been probably the only silver lining of that. And hopefully, if you want that Rangers Celtic rivalry alive and kicking for years and years and years to come, and you don't want a lopsided thing going on there,
Hmm.
you're going to build around Turnbull there. And he got called up. He has no caps right now for Scotland. So the fact that he got called up is pretty interesting to me. But he does offer something on the roster that they don't really have, and vision,
I agree. I
determination. I mean,
like that pick.
they ooze determination. But Turnbull's been great, and the other person we love that he's going. I don't know. Well, maybe he will play. You tell me what you think. But a Billy Gilmore.
I think he's
Um,
gonna play. Yeah,
you think he's going to play? He's also has no caps. So him
I
him and
like him.
Turnbull,
I like Billy Gilmore. I
I do
like
too.
Billy Gilmore. So you said two there that they're pretty good. They're ones to watch.
There are
Scotland,
ones to watch.
they might
Yeah.
play. They might play. They might play. My second pick is gonna be Dominic Shaw
Okay.
of RB Leipzig.
Yeah.
Why? Because one of the best moments I've ever seen a European qualification moment was Dominic Szoboszlai with that amazing run against Iceland in the
Yeah.
stoppage time and
Yep.
scoring the goal that puts them in the Euros. I
It's
don't. This moment is underrated. One of
yeah.
the most underrated moments in football is this Hungary qualification moment. Like
I'm
he
with you.
was unbelievable. I don't know what, like the feeling he had, but I was shaking, and I'm not even Hungarian, and I was like, "Whoa!" Like what just happened? We like oh so
They
and him being in the group with Germany, France, and Germany, France, and Portugal. It's gonna be a big test for him, and I'm super excited to see him stepping up against all these big teams. I'm very excited to see Dominic Shaw.
And I just hope, again, just like a Jordan Henderson we were talking about, I'm hoping he's ready and
Mm-hmm.
fit. I know he was back to training for Leipzig, and I can't tell you how excited I am to see him in the Bundesliga next year. But that's a good pick. I really hope that he can feel as confident as he was previous to his injury heading into this tournament. But yeah, you're not going to have much of a margin for error when you're
Mm-hmm.
playing the likes of France, Germany, and Portugal. So
True.
that'll be interesting. Well, my next one is, and I'm going to bust this name up. So pardon me, right?
No worries.
Sasha Kolachik, who has just been absolutely outstanding in the Bundesliga this year. Another guy that was not really playing much earlier in the year, and then he had 16 Bundesliga goals. And a lot of that was basically in the last 3/4, last 2/3 of the season. Big boy, right? 6'4", 6'5", target, get good positioning. And he is, Austria has like half of the Bundesliga on their roster. And I don't see, looking at the other guys that he's up there with, Gregorich and all them, I don't see him not starting. And he has every reason to become a pretty big breakout star, assuming Austria doesn't underperform as a squad. But
That's a very good pick.
yeah,
He's underrated.
He is underrated.
He's a very underrated
I
player.
got to say, timely goals he's had this year. I mean, he's like the amount of late game-winning goals he's scored has been pretty impressive. But
Crucial.
moving on.
My pick's gonna be Graven Birch because I'm gonna be very excited to see Graven Birch coming off the bench and playing next to Frankie De Jong, because I'd love to see that midfield one day, playing at Barcelona or maybe somewhere else, because they're really good. And Graven Birch, like that end of the season for Ajax, he really pulled it off.
Yeah.
And I feel like he deserves the chance to even have minutes coming off the bench in the Euros.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I'm most impressed with what Graven Birch did. I mean, he did not have a good start to the year. In fact, many were like, I think we handed the keys to the Ajax midfield to a guy too soon. And then he really picked it up late in the year. They obviously won the Eredivisie. He won, I believe. Did he win Young Player of the Year? I think he might have.
Yes, I feel like yes.
And just obvious that would be the case, and was absolutely instrumental in his last 10, 15 games for him. So I'm excited to see that. I'm going to shout out, although this doesn't count as my top 10, I'm going to shout out also Owen Windall at left back for and I really like what he offers. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how he fits in, but I think he's going to play. So no, Graven Birch is a very solid choice, and I hope we see him. And I actually hope to see a resurgence of the Dutch team. I really do. I'd like to see him do.
Give it more years, a couple of more years. The league maturing more. Yeah. Virgil van Dijk being there, you need Van Dijk there, and he's not going to go. So that's a big loss for the Netherlands.
I thought the league solves all problems, man. Thought he does.
Not all. Not against Portugal and France.
Yeah, it's their life. Well, you know what? They might have an easier route, right? Later on.
Let's see.
So we'll see.
Who's next for you? Two more names.
My next one is Casper Kozlowski.
Okay.
17 years old. I don't think he's turned 18 yet. Okay, but this kid has a story. First off, he was one of I believe he actually already made his Polish Ekstraklasa, and I probably busted that up too, debut before this happened. But beginning of last year, with a couple teammates, he was in a massive car wreck. I believe he broke his pelvis, broke his back, and obviously had this long road to recovery that somehow, when all was said and done, he comes back stronger than he was before. Now, that's probably not entirely true. He's 17. Like what, but this kid made his, obviously had an impact, and then made his Polish debut, and makes the final roster. And once again, like a Jeremy Doku, you don't bring this young guy just for experience. You bring him the same way you're bringing Jamal Musiala. They have something in their toolkit that you want to utilize.
I agree.
And Kozlowski will do that. And once again, you get a Kozlowski in an environment with a guy like Louis, right? Lewandowski. That's just going to be.
It's one for the president future. And
yes.
He deserves it. Like, especially after that story. Amazing.
Brutal.
I'm gonna go with a player that I feel is gonna have a very big summer, very tricky summer, and that's Ozan Kabak. Because I don't know if Liverpool are gonna activate the clause, and maybe they're waiting to see the Euros to have their answers. So he's gonna play with pressure. I think he hasn't played for Liverpool since April. I'm not sure, but he needs to prove himself, and what better opportunity than in the Euros? So he's my fourth pick, Ozan Kabak.
Yeah. Those Turkish center backs, man. There's quite a few of them. The Turkish defensive spine is going to be pretty damn good for years.
I agree.
I don't know if I'd go as far as saying I wouldn't call them a dark horse, because I don't necessarily think that they have any business. But I mean, they could find their way based on the groups. Could find their way into the semis somehow, just based on quality of who they're going to be meeting in the round of 16 if they actually make it through. But yeah, that's a good pick. I have too many more to announce, so what I'm going to do is I got like 3, and I'll just be really quick with them. Alex Izak. I wouldn't have said this until Zlatan can't make the Euros, right? Okay. Alexander Izak has been absolutely phenomenal, even without Martin Odegaard supplying him. And I believe he had 16 or 17 goals in La Liga this year for a weakened Real Sociedad. But once again, this kid, positioning-wise, he finds himself on the end of a whole lot. But him working with an Emil Forsberg, working with a Dejan Kulusevski, the Juve kid, I honestly believe he could have a pretty outsized impact for Sweden.
I like those.
Yeah. I mean, Sweden
the next deserves more love.
Yeah, and I think previous, if Zlatan was there, you're still going to see Izak, but now you're going to have to rely potentially on him. But we'll see. The other one is Manuel Locatelli. Complete, probably in my consideration, and I actually want to hear in the comment section what people think about this. I think he's the most underrated player in Serie A right now, Manuel Locatelli.
He's up there.
Yeah, stud for Sassuolo. And I honestly believe that, he's destined for pretty big things. But him, Barella, I mean, that midfield, I'm telling you right now, Italy is my dark horse. And it's weird to say Italy as a dark horse, but this is a different team. This is a team that's still growing, and just Chiesa, Barella,
I like it.
It's going to be a fun team to watch. And then the last one I've got here is, and I'm going to kill this pronunciation, but Alif Elmas for North Macedonia. All right. Set piece. Can't call him a king. Set piece prince.
That's James Ward-Prowse.
If North Macedonia is going to do anything, my guess is Elmas makes the impact. So that's one that I know we've got a lot of people that he's on their radar. He's one that you'd like to see really start to make an even bigger impact in world football. I think if you're going to do it, you might as well do it at Euro 2020, right?
I agree. Those are really good mentions you said right there. So there you go. We have more than 10 picks for you to see. Remember the names. Like, subscribe the clip, because I'm gonna cut this to put this as a just a video. And yeah, pretty cool. That was really good. I love the Elmish pick in the end.